Alrighty, what is going on, everybody? Of course, my name is Blitzwinger, and ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to yet another LEGO set review. Today we're going to be taking a look at Spaceship. Sorry, that's just Benny. Benny taking over the review. I apologize. Benny, sit down. Stop it. Alright, here we go. Of course, today's review is Benny's Spaceship review. This is a ginormous set. It is set number 70816, and of course, the actual piece count for this set is 940, which is insane. It is one of the largest sets that I have ever owned. I know that it's a bit late in terms of the fact that this set has been out for a little while, but honestly, I was just so very excited to get this set, and I really would love to share my opinions and thoughts on the set itself with all of you. Once again, as you can see, an absolutely glorious and beautiful packaging by the LEGO group. I really love the way that this one turned out. It looks absolutely awesome, kind of recreating almost the scene from the film. I like the little film strip coming across the actual packaging. Looks quite cool as well. We see, of course, all the minifigures in this set, which is a total of 5, well, 4 minifigures and 1 character, I guess. We have Unikitty, of course, Emmett, Benny, Wildstyle, and the little robot droid dude thingamajig. I forgot his name. Nonetheless, ladies and gents, let's go on ahead and take a look at Benny's Spaceship. Oh my God. That is literally what I said. Those were the first words that came out of my mouth when I finally built this thing. It took me about 2.5 hours, I'm guessing, or so to fully assemble this thing. Now, of course, I was watching a movie at the time as well, just kind of relaxing and assembling it at the same time. But my goodness gracious, is this thing huge. I mean, it is barely fitting in my little setup area right here. I mean, look at this. This is my hand. Look how massive it is. It is absolutely insanely huge. This is one of those few pieces that I've assembled so far that you can literally, if you like found some really nice stances for it or something like that, for it to stand and safely stand on it, I would be absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, like proud to even put it like in my living room just to say, look at that spaceship. That thing is absolutely incredible. It is so very detailed, so massive in scale, and looks a lot, if not exactly, the same way that it did in the film. I mean, it is absolutely awesome. Now, with that in mind, we're actually going to begin by taking a look at the tiny little ship. That is, of course, the one that is being piloted by the Robo pilot. And, of course, it is way smaller, so here's a comparison to my hand. Obviously, it's a tiny little ship indeed, but obviously it still has some really lovely qualities to it. So, for example, it has some really nice little red turbines in the back here, some cool-looking blasters. It very much reminds me of something that you would totally see in the Star Wars universe. It definitely has that kind of appeal to it. A lot of blasters, as you can see. This thing is armed to the gills. We also have a nice little holder right there for your blaster, so you can go ahead and actually house the blaster that belongs to the Robo pilot over there. We'll take a look at the Robo pilot momentarily. There's some lovely detail on the actual inside of the vehicle with some red cushioning on the back there, or vents, and then of course also, as you can see, a nice little panel right there that is actually print on the Lego piece, so that's quite cool indeed. You'll also notice some sticker work right here on the sides and on the wings. Those are actually indeed stickers, so that's pretty cool as well. And there you go. That is the Robo pilot Spaceship. Alrighty guys, so now let's break down Benny's Spaceship. Wait, no, let's not break it down, because this took a long time to actually assemble, but that's not what I mean. What I mean is, of course, let's take a look at it in more detail. Now, technically speaking, this set is really a 4-vehicle set. It's not just the spaceship or just Robo Pilot's little spaceship as well, because this is actually a 3-in-1 vehicle. We have the main spaceship, and then if you've noticed on the sides right here on the wings, there are 2 little spaceships. So let's go ahead and take a look at those real quick. Alrighty guys, so here's of course the tiny little spaceship that is kind of like an add-on. The way it connects is actually quite simple indeed. It just clips onto this little blue clip. The other spaceship has a clip on the opposite side, so obviously it would clip that way. So that's pretty cool. Oh, actually, no, it's double-sided. I forgot about that. So it doesn't matter which one you put which way. It's up to you to decide. So that's kind of cool. Nonetheless, of course, as you can see, we have a nice little red turbine in the back, which is, of course, to go along with the whole red energy theme that we saw on the Robo pilot spaceship. This little apparatus actually lifts up like so, so when it's in actual piloted mode, it's supposed to look like this. So you have your little pilot sitting right here, and then of course there's all the little targeting sites, which is done through sticker work, and all the little measurements, thermometers, so on and so forth that you need to keep track of. So that's pretty cool that there's actually kind of like two different modes for it, the non-active mode and then the active mode, where it almost looks more like a helicopter or something. So that's cool indeed. The wings here do flap up and down, so you can kind of have different display features. Of course, when you have it clipped in, it is supposed to be displayed like this, because represents the continuation of the wings, and obviously you want it to be able to clip onto the actual clip that you desire. So just keep that in mind. And then of course, in terms of weapons or artillery, right on the front here we have some pretty powerful looking red blasters and cannons. Alrighty guys, so I have teased you for long enough. It is indeed time to take a look at the spaceship itself. Now right off the bat, this thing has so many features that I'm just gonna warn you guys, if I miss out on anything, I absolutely do apologize. Maybe I'll miss out on something tiny little detail that I forget that it actually does, because there's just so very much that this thing can do. So right off the bat, let's talk about the biggest feature of this whole thing, and that is the fact that yes, it can become even bigger. So we have these triple turbines in the back, which looks absolutely awesome, by the way. That looks glorious and gorgeous. Just an absolutely gorgeous design right there with the triple boosts, looking very, very neat. But this little feature right here is actually, or this little turbine actually has a feature to it. So when you push it in, it extends the wingspan. So then the wingspan is this big, which is just massive. So it does make a big difference, by the way. Look, we get almost the whole thing in the shot, whereas this puts it way out of the shot. So it makes it that much bigger, which is crazy because it's already huge. The other thing that this does is actually reveals two hidden cannons that are tucked away when you push it in like this. As you can see, it's actually tucked away behind these flaps right here. And that is a blaster where if you pull this, it fires away one of these soft rubber kind of Technic cannons or blasts. Now, of course, the cool thing is that, as you can see, it's so well designed to where if you shoot it when it's not extended, you're just going to fire away at these cables right here that are made of soft plastic. So if you just fire that way, it's kind of ineffective. But if you have it fully extended, now you can actually fire it away and it's going to fly at your target, which is pretty awesome and smart indeed. Now, additionally to that, of course, there's an additional blaster on the opposite side as well. There's a ton of moving flaps and moving features on the entire thing as well. So obviously these little things up here move around. The flaps on these little ships move around. Of course, these actual flaps lift up if you'd like to lift them up on your own. Then up in the front right here, we've got the rotating front, so that moves around as well. Of course, the cockpit opens on up to reveal 3 spots for 3 pilots. So as you can see, I've got Benny, Emmett, and Wildstyle inside there. Speaking of breaking things, I guess. No, speaking of moving items, goodness gracious, I guess I said speaking of breaking things and I decided to take off Unique Space Kitty's head off there, so I apologize about that, Space Kitty. These flaps right here as well do move around, and additionally to all of that, we have some more firepower. So we have these little firing flick missiles. So as if those ginormous missiles were not enough, we have the flick missiles right here. And then as if all that wasn't enough, we have these firing missiles, and these are actually really, really cool because the way they work is basically you just put leverage on the actual missile and then it fires it off. And once again, you can see almost all of the lasers or blasts or such are all red. So everything you see that is red on this thing is basically a weapon, except for these little things right here where it's a siren. So other than that, everything red, blasters, 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 and of course those were actually surprisingly yellow, not red, which is kind of shocking. I kind of am surprised that they didn't go ahead and actually make the tip of this thing red as well, just so that it actually fits with the whole artillery theme. Now, Additionally to all this, there is more. Of course, you might have noticed that there's an incredible amount of detail on this thing, and a lot of it comes through sticker work. You'll notice that there's, for example, details right here on the outside as well. So that's stickers right here for the latch symbolisms. There's little arrows right here on the front panels. There's arrows on the side panels right here. All that is sticker work. There's some printed on work as well on the actual bricks, so that's kind of a nice little touch there. I was definitely pleasantly surprised by that. But then we also have a ton of detail when we look at it head on, like so. So for example, right here, we have this antenna basically unfolds like this, and it can act then like an antenna, which is pretty cool. So you could actually kind of like use it like this as if it's scouring for something. And then once it found its target, it will then launch these two little guys who are tiny little robots, and we have two of them, and they are absolutely adorable and awesome. We have a yellow one right here, as you can see, arms and all have the little RC control point, and then there's also a red guy as well, whose arm I just took off by mistake, but there he is. So two different variations of the robots, which is awesome. Again, just an added little bonus for this set. And once again, you could then go ahead and close this back down, and it makes it look more complete and aerodynamic. Now, additionally to that, my favorite part actually comes through here, and that is this opening latch, which is absolutely phenomenal because it looks like an old school like sci-fi spaceship inside. So when you open this latch, which by the way is incredible, you get the inside of the ship, and it looks absolutely awesome. You can see a nice little gem hidden in there. By the way, I just knocked down Unikitty. That's the noise you heard, so I apologize about that. But there's a little gem in there, which is awesome. You see some lovely print work right here, and just this whole laboratory kind of like design going on inside the spaceship, which is absolutely phenomenal and looks super duper cool and gives me almost like a Alien vibe if you've ever watched that movie. And if you haven't and you're not of age, don't, because it's really spooky. So nonetheless, of course, there you have it. That is pretty much all there is to the spaceship, and I know that I'm like pretty much all there is to the spaceship. There's a lot to the spaceship, as you can tell. I mean, this thing does a lot of things and does a lot of things very right. But of course, now it's time to take a look at the minifigures and Space Kitty herself. Alrighty guys, so we kick things off with the one, the only, Emmett himself, of course, the star of the film. And speaking of the film, I love that we get a pretty cool version of Emmett from the film. Of course, if you remember, this is the version of Emmett when they cover themselves up in foil, and that is absolutely awesome. I love the fact that we didn't just get yet another Emmett that has the exact same expressions, another Emmett that looks exactly the same. I really love that this time around we actually got a different version. I love the fact that the details even go all the way to the legs. You can see the little foil and stuff, scrumpled up foil on the legs. The vest right there is now all foiled up. The face, of course, is the biggest difference itself. It looks quite cool and neat indeed. Of course, as you can see, other than that, he keeps the majority of his attire. I love the fact that the actual item back here that he's carrying, I forgot the name of it. Of course, this is the spoiler alert glue cap that he carries. The item, let's just call it the item from now on. The item that he carries is also covered up in foil, so that's quite cool. Of course, the hat is removable. Whoa, sorry. I thought for a moment there that my light was about to fall down. That would have not been good. So I do apologize about that. But the hat, of course, is removable. On the back of it, you can see kind of just crumpled up details. So no other expression for Emmett, which makes sense because this time around he's fully covered up in foil. But there you go, guys. That is Emmett. Alrighty, next up we have Space Kitty, or Space Unikitty, whatever you want to call her, or maybe Space Outfitted Unikitty, and I really like this version too. I love that we've gotten a Business Kitty at this point, a Unikitty, of course, the Rage Kitty, and now we also have Space Kitty, so she's pretty much a huge star. I really think that her, Wildstyle, and Emmett are probably the three characters that have gotten the most releases out of all the characters that appear in the Lego movie, and the most varied ones, which is really nice. Of course, as you can see, she's got that adorable expression going on her face. She does have the same exact space logo that Benny does, so that's pretty neat, and of course that's a nice old school throwback to the older Lego set. Once again, of course, you can change up her display features, of course, just by moving her tail to different directions. direction, so you can actually clip it that way, or if you want, you could remove it and put it this way as well. So you do get a bit of variation in terms of how you'd like to display her as well, so you can kind of mess around with that. Of course, her head does shift on this little peg, on this little stud as well, so you can maneuver that around the way that you see fit, which is pretty neat, and I definitely like that quite a bit. So there you go, guys. That is Space Kitty. Guys, so next up we move on to Wild Style, and she is definitely styling. I love her outfit. I think it looks absolutely awesome. I love that for herself. It's like, you know, she took the traditional space logo, but then she went ahead and actually mixed it up and made it look way different and kind of more like graffiti styled, which is super duper cool. Of course, she has the two colored ribbons going across her hair, that absolutely awesome smirk on her face. She's ready to rumble. She's ready to take down Vitruvius. She's ready to take, not Vitruvius, sorry. Goodness gracious, Lord Business. Vitruvius is a friend. I'm sorry about that. I really like the hairstyle in general, just the look of it. And then, of course, on the back here, we do get another expression, which is the more upset or maybe just more serious one as well. Of course, also, there's a nice little detail with the additional item right here being placed as her hoodie. Alright guys, so then we move on to the only bad guy in this set, and that is the Robo pilot himself. I like how he has the Octane logo on his chest there. That looks pretty sweet indeed. But in fact, I would venture so far to say that behind the Robo Sheriff, this might just be my second favorite Robo character in general, because he is just that cool. I love the print work on the chest and everything. It looks super duper sweet, especially because it almost looks like he's wearing like a regular suit and tie underneath it. So it's kind of cool, like just to imagine him kind of running around as just a regular suited Robo, and then all of a sudden he just has all this pilot equipment attached to him. So I absolutely love that, and it looks awesome. Also, when you lift up the red, very menacing visor along with the helmet, you can see a pretty awesome and menacing looking Robo pilot himself. He just looks absolutely phenomenal. Of course, as you can see, as I mentioned before, when we look at the spaceship, there's his blaster, which looks awesome. I way prefer this one to the traditional pistol that we get. So this is awesome, really, really cool to see, and plus nice little detail with the additional red cap to it. On the back, there's no other expression because, of course, it's a Robo character, even though I honestly think it would have been kind of nice to get another expression going for him. And then, of course, as you can see, the continuation of that pilot's vest on the back of the minifig as well. And last, but certainly not least, the man of the hour, the man with the power, the one, the only, Benny from, of course, Spaceship Benny, because he is just absolutely that awesome. Look at that expression. That, to me, that is the, if I had to take an expression and show it to somebody to say how I feel about the Lego movie, it would be that. That right there. It's just so much excitement, pure joy, pure fun, and that exactly describes it perfectly. Of course, as you can see, he's got his classic all blue astronaut outfit. I love the fact that they do the faded-like effect for the actual print, as if it's been played with for ages and ages, so that's really cool. It kind of gives it that more realistic look. Of course, you can see the split helmet, like where these helmets used to break right here because they were quite fragile. Of course, this one is not broken, but they simulate it to look as though it is broken, which is quite awesome as well. We have the nice little walkie-talkie right there, so you could go ahead and report to Emmett, Wild Style, or of course Space Kitty as they go into battle against the Robo pilots. On the back, he has a nice blue air tank to go along with the whole theme of everything else that is blue for him. And then, of course, we do have an additional expression for Mr. Benny, and that is just the classic smiling Lego, or smirking, maybe, I don't even know what you would call it, smirking Lego face as well. And you can go ahead and equip this one as well. Let me just rotate it around. Oh, whoops, just a minute. Yeah, just 1 minute. Sorry about that. I just had to adjust the light. Okay, there we go. And then that look is a viable one for Benny as well. So there you go. Both expressions are available and both look absolutely awesome. But the other one is, of course, much more Benny in nature. Alrighty guys, so there you have it. Of course, that was the review for Benny's Spaceship. I have to scream it because it's all caps and there's an exclamation mark, so I gotta do it. I'm sorry guys. But nonetheless, of course, as you can see, it was an absolutely fun time to build this set. More importantly than that, it is an amazing set once it's fully assembled. Now, I'm well aware of the fact that this is a pretty pricey set, but if you're like me and you wait around for a little while and maybe your Toys R Us or Walmart or Lego store have some sort of sale or a deal going on, and then you could get some sort of discount, it's definitely worthwhile to pick it up. Now, of course, it's obviously in my opinion, even at full price, it probably is worth it, because the fact that this spaceship is absolutely incredible, and now having built it, I'm like, this is just insane. It is such a fun time to build too, just the way that everything kind of comes together, because you assemble almost like, at first you lay out this like skeleton look for it, and then all these pieces just come together so quickly and so nicely. Like within the last like there's like 7 bags for the set. I think within the last like 2 bags is when the whole thing really comes together. So it's just really cool to see, and a ton of fun to mess around with. Plus you get a pretty cool collection of mini figures in this set as well. So there you guys have it. Thanks all for watching. Of course, if you guys enjoyed today's review, please don't forget to hit that like button. Let me know what you thought of Benny's spaceship, and more importantly, let me know what was your favorite moment in the Lego movie. Have a fantastic day, guys, and I'll catch you guys next time. Spaceship! I mean, see you later, alligators.